How the fuck are we living in a timeline where Donald Trump is shaking hands with Chelsea goalkeeper Robert Sanchez? Absolutely crazy. Welcome back to The Verdict. Hello guys, how are you getting on? My name is Aaron Kelly and you're very welcome back to another episode of The Verdict here today. Chelsea are world champions. Yes, you heard that right. I've said it before. I said it on my previous channel, the main channel. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Chelsea Football Club are champions of the world. When Chelsea beat, who was it, Palmeiras I think it was, in the 2022 World Club Cup final, well, Chelsea have done it again. They have beaten Paris Saint-Germain by 3-0. And listen, there was a lot of discourse in the world of football, online in particular, about this World Club Cup, the way it works, the way it's structured, the way the likes of Al Hilal and Inter Miami have somehow managed to wangle their way into the tournament. And I'll admit, I'll put my hands up, I can't sit here and say that I was always on board with this new kind of format of the Club World Cup. I in fact went on local radio to explain why I thought that the hype for it wasn't really all that. I even said at the time that even as a Chelsea fan, I wasn't sure when our first game was. And I don't want to sound like a massive hypocrite and pretend I didn't say those things, because I fucking did. However, I think a lot of people can agree the competition did get a lot more entertaining as kind of the rounds went on. And there's going to be so many people that argue the fact, and you'd be right, that Chelsea had an incredibly easy route to the final. And yes, that is very true. Chelsea had the easier side of the draw, absolutely. But I don't think anybody in this world thought that Chelsea were going to, number one, beat PSG, but absolutely hammer them. Like 3-0. And in reality, it could have been more. Full credit has to go to Enzo Maresca to outsmart and outwit a manager like Luis Enrique, who's won it all. PSG were on the verge of winning something like their 4th trophy this season. They've won every single thing they've been in, but they hadn't met Chelsea yet. A 3-0 victory. Cole Palmer with 2 and João Pedro with the 3rd. 3-0 up at half-time, cruising. And there was a little bit of adversity in the second half that Chelsea had to face. PSG did come into the game a lot more, but Chelsea stood firm. Robert Sanchez. Oh my god. Where the fuck did that performance come out of? Don't get me wrong, you're still a fraud and you still need to be sold in my opinion. However, that was an unbelievable performance. He makes a couple of good saves from Doué in the first half. Yes, there was still time for a little shaky one towards the end, but he was just brilliant. And Chelsea defensively, Cucurella was absolutely excellent. Wound up fucking João Neves to the point where he pulled his hair and got sent off. And by the way, if you don't think that was a red card, then what are we even doing here? Colwill, I thought Trevoh Chalobah with potentially his best performance in a Chelsea jersey. Malo Gusto locks up Kvaratskhelia. He was absolute, and he was excellent going forward as well. And like, make no mistake about it, PSG wanted to win this game. I think the reaction at full time from the likes of Enrique, the likes of Donnarumma, forcing scraps at the full time whistle was probably a good enough indication of how much PSG wanted this game. But they were just outclassed in every single area of the pitch. Moises Caicedo is unbelievable. That's all I have to say. He's absolutely outrageous. When he goes into a tackle, you very rarely feel like he's not going to win the ball. Enzo Fernandez, I thought Reece James was excellent in the middle of the park as well. I was a little bit concerned that Maresca decided to start James in there, but again, he proved me wrong. He was brilliant in there. Neto, absolutely excellent, as he was throughout the whole tournament. And then that link up between Cole Palmer and João Pedro, lads, that is something I'm so excited to see this season. And I'll hold my hands up in the air. I didn't really go on record saying it, but I'll say it now. When João Pedro signed for Chelsea, I was very, very concerned about this signing. Number one, because of the amount of money he was costing, but Brighton fans were quite happy to see him go, to be honest with you. And that, for a club like Chelsea, was a big, big concern to see somebody like that coming into the club. He's meant to be a bit of a troublemaker. Attitude is meant to sting and overall doesn't really live up to the billing. But so far, he's played 2 games for Chelsea, scores 2 goals against Fluminense, and he was brilliant in this final. He was hassling those Paris Saint-Germain defenders the whole time. And that was one thing that Real Madrid probably got wrong against PSG in the semi-final, was they just let them play out from the back and there was not that strong of a press. Chelsea, from minute go, were fucking on them. Like, the pressing was absolutely ridiculous. And in that heat is something to behold, I have to say. And it didn't even let up. You know, you make subs. Liam Delap was brilliant when he came on. He probably should have scored. He nearly had another one, a long distance effort that was well saved by Donnarumma. I thought Nkunku, again, as he has been in this Club World Cup, since he's come on, he's been good. And he's a player who a lot of Chelsea fans, probably including myself, felt like was probably heading towards the exit door of Stamford Bridge this summer. But that might well change now, because he's looks like he could be a useful asset for Chelsea this season. And not only is it the Club World Cup title and that lovely little gold badge in the middle of the kit for the next 4 years, it's the first winner of this new iteration of the Club World Cup, which is history in and of itself for Chelsea. But one of the biggest things for me, and maybe not many Chelsea fans are talking about this, but it's the amount of money Chelsea are making from winning this competition. And I still think there's big improvements to be made on this squad before we start the Premier League season in about a month's time. There are still lots of changes to be made in this team, I do think, and I still think there's lots of areas to improve on. I've been singing the praises of Trevor Chalobah and of Levi Colwill last night. I still think you could bring another centre half in. I'm not sure if Wesley Fofana is someone you're going to be able to rely on for getting a consistent run of games, because he's been so inconsistent with injuries. And as good as Bob Sanchez was last night, and as much as I love the bald man this morning, I really don't think, if Chelsea wants to take that next step up, which is ultimately, hopefully, competing for the title at the very least, I do think you need a new goalkeeper, because it gets to a certain level. Players and keepers in particular can have incredible one-off games, but when it comes to a 38-game season, Chelsea are back in the Champions League this season as well. I do think Chelsea are going to need a better goalkeeper than Robert Sanchez, but I will thank him and say what a performance that was last night. And this PSG side, they just didn't show up. And I don't know what happened. Like, Chelsea just had them rattled from the get-go. And I was watching the game with Zach and Stephen, and it was Zach who said it straight away after probably 5 or 6 minutes, that Chelsea have them absolutely rattled. Can we talk about Cole Palmer? Like, I've heard a lot of people talking stink, saying that Cole Palmer is someone that doesn't show up in the big games, in the finals, when it matters. Well, he showed up in the Conference League final, he showed up in the Euros final for England, and now just proven to be absolutely running rampant over PSG in the Club World Cup final. He's just unbelievable. And I know he had a tough couple of months towards the back end of last season, but make no mistake about it, Cole Palmer is unbelievable. And if Chelsea can keep him firing this season, and if that fucking partnership between himself and João Pedro proves to be a fruitful one, Chelsea have a really scary front line this season. But yeah, I don't know what else to say, lads. That was just, I was shocked. I was floored. It's the best I've seen Chelsea play for a long time now. It's been a tough couple of seasons, but I have to say that was a real coming of age performance. And make no mistake about it, I said at the beginning, I'll say it again, PSG really wanted to win this game, and there was that reaction at full time from the likes of Donnarumma and Enrique, the scrap at the end, but that was pretty much PSG's best team, and Chelsea ran rampant. And I don't know if it's just, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Chelsea once again going into a big final being the underdogs. I don't know if that's some sort of fucking voodoo that we have, because whenever it happens, we just seem to come good. You think of Bayern Munich in 2012, you think of Man City 2021, like there's so many occasions where Chelsea have been the underdogs in these big games, and they've just come through with flying colours, and it happened once again. League of Ireland verdict coming out hopefully later on today or tomorrow, but Chelsea fans, let me know how we're feeling today as world champions. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and yeah, we'll see you for the next one. Take care and peace.